Hello, hello everyone. Happy Monday. Let me see if I can find myself on YouTube. That'll let me click. And it looks like, yes, hello Sharon, yes. So it takes me a few minutes now because if I go live too early, it puts me in a different direction for the video. So I literally have to wait until right at the time to go. And then it takes forever for it to come up. So anyway, but I was determined not to be in the other direction today. All right, let me find myself really quick. And I'm sure there's a better way to figure it all out, but I don't know. I haven't become a pro yet with it. So, all right, let's dive in. Hello, Verna. Hello, Nancy. How are y'all? Make sure that you give me a thumbs up, that you comment, and also that you share the video because that helps me out a lot. And I'm greatly appreciative for that. We're going to dive right in. We have 2 cards that we're going to create tonight with a stamp set that is called Natural Botanicals. I love this stamp set. It's so easy and simple to use. And then I'm pairing it with a brand new stamp set that will be coming out in the annual catalog that is called The Right Words. I am a sentiment junkie when it comes to the catalog, any new catalog that comes out. This one has some amazing sentiments in it, great sympathy ones. Sharon, I know that you've needed several of those. So this is a good one to get once the catalog goes live in 2 weeks. But I'm gonna go ahead and use that as well tonight. And then we're gonna do kind of some techniques tonight. So we're gonna do 2 cards with those techniques. And then just like last week, I'll have a 3rd card that'll come out later in the week. Okay, so just a couple of things before I put you down onto the table. Don't forget to register for bingo. Bingo is $50. It will be May the 10th. You have to sign up by May the 2nd. I'm having to get strict with the registration, so make sure that you sign up by the 2nd. Otherwise, I won't be able to get the products in order for you to attend bingo. It will be at 1 o'clock. Making sure I have my time right because we switched it to earlier, so I just want to make sure I did put the right one. So it'll be at 1 o'clock on May the 10th. And I would love to have at least 20 people there because then we can do 2 prizes per round, which we have gotten there before, and I'm pretty sure we can get there again. There is a link in the description of this video that will take you to the information page, which looks like this. And then at the bottom of that information page is a register button, so you can do that. The next thing is the 2025 to 2027 In Color Club. Club is $65. It lasts for 5 months. Right now, you'll get 4 colors, and then on the last month, you're gonna get to pick a color. Because as of right now, this cloud cover, I think that's what it's called, is not available. So we're hoping that it will be soon, but if it's not, then you'll just get to pick a different color to have of an ink pad. The last day to register for that is May the 10th. So that is the day of my in-person class. So that's the last day to register for it. With the In Color Club, you get 1 full pack of cardstock. You will get an ink pad, 1 refill. You will get 1 marker. So here are some of those things. This is a marker. You'll get the Stampin' blends. You'll get the ribbon. And then you'll also get 8 sheets of the 6x6 designer series paper. So all that, $65. The first one will mail at the beginning of June. So it'll mail at the beginning of the next month because it gives me time to get the products in and then get it all together. And then you'll also get a card made with that color for you that month. The next thing is Don't forget, I'm doing a special for April where you spend $50 from the online store and you get your name in a bucket. I've added another person this week, so thank you very much. I will be drawing this on April the 30th, and then you get a $50 gift certificate to spend with me from the online store. So don't forget about that. And that, of course, will end on the last day of April. So make sure you get that in. The next thing is what I'm calling the summer paper share. It is all the new papers from the new catalog and several from our online exclusives that are coming out or just came out. So there's a little 6x6. This was all I was able to kind of get ordered from the new catalog and what they have allowed us to purchase with the online exclusives, and then of course with the catalog. So that paper share, last day to join that is May the 2nd, and that is $58. And then that gets mailed directly to your house. So sorry, I dropped a card. So that is coming as well. The paper, by the way, is stunning. Y'all know I might be a huge designer series paper junkie. So I even put myself into the paper share because I want every single one for me, myself, and I as well. So, so there is that. And Sharon, let's see, how do you get to your online store? Okay, so in the description of this video, there's a link. It says order link. That will take you directly to the Stampin' Up website, or if you do go to www.simplyelizabethcrafts.com, there's a order button on there as well that'll take you directly to it. So there is links for bingo, in color club. I'm reading that description right now. Links for bingo, in color club, paper share, join the email list. All that is right there underneath the description of this video. So you can find all that information there. If you have questions though, feel free to reach out and I'll be happy to answer those for you. Okay, I think that's it. So I am going to put you down on the table and we will get started. And we will get started in the right direction. I like when it works out for me for sure. All right, let's see. Now let's switch. There we go. Maybe one day I'll get fancy. Probably not though, because this does seem to work for me. Where I don't have to do the moving and all that stuff. Right. Oops, I didn't see where it said more. Oh, it does kind of hide there, doesn't it, Sharon? Yes, if you click on more, it'll take you right there. So it'll take you to all the different links. Yep. Yeah, because I think it just gives you the live chat when you get on there. So trust me, technology, you know, is not my friend either. So I am there with you. All right. I'm going to see if I can straighten it up just real quick. Maybe so. Okay, so again, we are going to be using these two stamp sets tonight. And we're going to do a little bit of some techniques. And they're going to involve water. And they're going to involve messiness. Just as an FYI. So, I am going to kind of move everything off of here so that I don't get it all in a disaster. Okay? All right. So the first card we're going to create is this one right here. And our technique is just this little background back here. So you could use DSP if you wanted to, but I really enjoyed creating with just some watercolor. Now, the other part of that is I didn't use watercolor paper. And it did just fine because you're not going to saturate it like you would watercolor paper. So we're going to start with that. I'm going to move this one over here. And I'm going to make sure I do this right. You would think think I might know how to, but you know. All right, I'm gonna also grab a piece of grid paper just so that I don't get everything so messy. All right, I also have a spritzer. Stampin' Up, I cannot find these anymore on Stampin' Up website, so you could just use a spray bottle if you don't have any of these. Oh, thank you, Verna. You know, I was actually kind of teetering on the colors, but I kind of wanted it to be where you could make it masculine. So that's why I went the colors when I went, because you could even take this away and your little embellishments and it could be masculine. For a birthday card, we all need that, right? Okay, let's start with our lemon lolly. And you're gonna open up your ink pad and you're literally gonna take it and put some right here, just kind of across. Now, I didn't put as much yellow on the sample and I really want a little bit more. So I'm gonna put a lot more on that one. Then I'm gonna take the Shaded Spruce and I'm gonna put it up here. And I'm gonna take it down right where it kind of crosses over the yellow there. Then we're gonna take the Night of Navy, my favorite Stampin' Up color, and we're gonna go down like that. Okay. We are then gonna take our spritzer and we're just gonna get, and this is just our silicone mat, okay? So you could use any kind of silicone mat that you have. There's a lot like on Amazon and stuff too, but this is just ours. If you wanted like a bigger one, that would allow, you could also use your, if you have a glass mat, you could also use the glass mat. But for those of you who don't know, I kind of cracked my glass mat. I dropped it because I drop everything. All right, so I'm spritzing that up. And yes, it looks like there's a lot of water on there, but you're gonna take your cardstock and you're literally gonna take it. Now I'm gonna put it at an angle because I don't want it to be straight across like that. So we're gonna do kind of there and we're just gonna push down on it real quick. Okay, and then we're gonna come over here and we're gonna do it again. We're gonna push down on that side. Okay, and that's it. You're gonna have some white spaces. I'm good with that. I don't need it to be completely covered or anything like that. All right, I'm gonna move that for just a second. I'm gonna bring in my other silicone mat and we're gonna set that aside. And then we're gonna use our heat tool and we'll heat it up and dry it off in a second. But before we do that, we're gonna clean this. So what I use to clean, and I forgot to pull them over here, sorry, is I just use some regular old toilet paper. You could use paper towels too, but this happens to be right close to me in the craft room. And then all I do is I just pick it up like this. And with it being a silicone mat, it cleans really easily. And I just drop it in the trash bucket. And then I'm gonna take 2 wet wipes or baby wipes, whatever you call them. And then we're just gonna wipe it like that. And then I'm gonna flip it over and I'm gonna clean that side too, just in case, okay? So now that's clean. And then again, I'm just gonna throw it away. And you wanna do, you don't necessarily with the silicone mat have to do it at the same time. I'm gonna do it because, well, I also have to use it again. So, all right, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna actually dry this so that we can start putting our card together. So I'm gonna grab my little tweezers. There they are. And then we're just gonna heat it up. Now make sure that you don't heat up your silicone mat It can warp it. It does pretty good though with like hot glue and stuff, so it won't like horribly ruin it or anything. All right, so then we're just gonna dry it. You can also turn it over to dry it. And then once you're done with that, you can set it aside, and then we will start putting the actual card together. I'm gonna clean this really quick. Get off some of my glue little things too. Okay. All right, so we'll set that aside. And then we've got that. I cut out a little frame, and I used the, these are called the textured notes dies. And I used this one right here. So of course I'm just cutting out the center, so then you'll have that piece that you can do other stuff with as well. All right, so let's do some stamping. And I need my scratch paper. Actually, you know what? We're just gonna grab a new piece of paper to make sure I have plenty of room. How about that? Okay. We are going to stamp this image right here. We're gonna stamp it in Shaded Spruce. And when I first ink this up, this is a reversible stamp, okay? So we're gonna do the smooth side first. We're gonna take it and stamp it down. Then we're gonna put it onto your, you know, I almost changed shirts, but I was like, oh, it should be okay. I probably will end up with it all over me, I'm sure, Deb. And then we're gonna stamp it down right there. Okay, we're then gonna clean it, and we're gonna flip it over to what I call the detailed side. Make sure I get it good and clean. I will say, when I was doing these cards, I had it all, when I was practicing them, I had it all over my fingers, which you can see I'm already starting to get it there now. So I'm sure I'll be wearing it soon on my clothes. All right, now one thing I want to actually tell you, this bothers some people. It doesn't necessarily bother me because it kind of makes it look more abstract. But this image, this flat image, is not going to line up perfectly with the detailed image. But what I'm going to do is match it up as close as I can and stamp down. Now, you're going to notice that this is way over here, which I'm totally fine with, because we're going to fussy cut it out now. And that will make it be just fine. You'll have a little bit of white areas, which will be fine too, because it still makes it a little bit more like that abstract. We're just going to cut around this like that, and then we're going to fussy cut it out. And what I'm going to actually do is follow the detailed line. And I'm not going to go all the way in because it's got that solid color, and so it makes it look like that's part of the leaf, which is what we want. It makes the fussy cutting a lot easier. All right, and I'm going to be probably a little slower with this, and I'll work my way up to getting it faster. Sometimes the ins and outs with the leaves and stuff like this, for left-handed people, it makes it a little bit more difficult. All right, when I get here, we're going to use the solid detailed one instead of the reverse side. Okay. All right, and then we'll do that and up. And on this one, you're not really going to have like a white border, except for in some areas because of that solid image that you stamped as well. All right, almost there. And on the next one, we will not be fussy cutting, so it won't take that long. All right. If you didn't want to dry your background, by the time you finished stamping and fussy cutting, it will be pretty much dry, just FYI. But I just wanted to make sure. All right, so there we go. Make sure I put it in the right bucket. Okay, so now we're going to take our frame and we are going to stamp our happy birthday right there. And I know it pulled it out. There it is. We're going to stamp that in Night of Navy. So ink it up. And then we're going to stamp down here like that. This font style also is very good because if you get it a little crooked, it's not horribly noticeable. So that does work out to my benefit. Okay, now we're going to flip this over. We're going to put adhesive on the edges all the way around. And there we go. Then we're going to just pick up our little piece here. We're going to kind of situate it where we want it to be. And I think I'm going to go like this. That ended up kind of being straight, didn't it? So let's see if we can turn it some. Like that. How about that? Oh, that's still straight. That's okay. All right. Then we're going to take our little leaf here. We're going to pop up the leaf. Let me get a new one. And I'm going to put a lot of dimensionals on this. And the reason is I don't want the leaves to fall. The little, the outside pieces. I don't want those to fall in the mail. And so I'm going to just make sure that I have a dimensional on all of them. And then there we go. So we'll take off the backs. We're going to change up our piece real quick because when I put this onto the card front, we're going to fold this in half and then we're going to pop up this layer here because I put it flat on the sample and I'm not so sure I like it flat. So we are going to make it popped up and see how we like that. So let's add a whole bunch of dimensionals. And 1, 2, and one more. There we go. My finger is not catching the backings very well. All right, then we're going to stick this one right here. I feel like because it's white on white, it needs a little bit of definition with that being popped up some. Okay, next we're going to add our linen thread. And I'm going to toss that back in there. We're going to grab a glue dot. And then we're going to put this right there. And then last but not least, we're going to add on our embellishments. And I need my Take Your Pick tool. And we're going to add a bunch of these on the front. One right there. And then we're going to do small ones right there. Okay, so that is card number 1. And it doesn't take too long, even with the water and all of that, to the technique in the background. It doesn't take a lot of time to create. Okay, next one is going to be this one right here. And I'm going to ask y'all to let me know when we get to putting on the ribbon. I'm not sure how much I like the ribbon on it, so we're going to do one without, and then I'm going to let you tell me which one you like the best, okay? All right, so this one, we're going to pull in our silicone mat again. I'm going to put my little sheet underneath here. Okay. We're going to heat emboss as well. So we've got some little squares here that our cutout pieces are going to actually be on. Now, just FYI, when I first did it, I stamped and then I did the water with the ink over it. That did not work out. What it did was it actually smeared the black memento. You can do the stays on, which will allow it not to do that. But I went ahead and did, well, yes, Deb, I actually thought about that too. So anyway, so make sure you do your water coloring first and then you do the actual stamping once it's dry. So I thought about that too, because we have black twine, right? Of course, that would be the one color that apparently I don't have in the packet anymore. So apparently I've used it recently for a class and forgot to replace it. So that's why I went with the gingham. So, but I do feel like maybe the twine would be less evasive on it and less kind of overpowering for sure. Okay, so let's get started with this one. We are going to take, and apparently yellow was my color for tonight, which yellow is not usually my color. So we are going to stamp, or yeah, we're going to take our ink pad and we're going to stamp it right there. Then we're going to take our Calypso Coral and we're going to do the same thing. Okay. Then we are going to spritz some water on it. Again, I'm just using regular basic white paper. You can definitely use the watercolor paper if you would like, for sure. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these little squares. One, I'm just going to drop right here where it all comes to come together. Then I'm going to take my tweezers here. We're going to pick it up and then ta-da, we're going to place this over here on this one. Okay, then the next one, we're going to kind of put a little bit over there. And then we're going to put a little bit of yellow down there. And then we're going to leave some of it white. So then we're going to leave that there. This one, we're going to just kind of do right about there. And then let's do it so that that's in that corner. There we go. And then let's put a little bit of yellow in that corner, just in that little corner. And then I'll have a little bit of white there in the center. Okay, now I'm going to move this out of the way. I will clean that in just a bit. Then I'm going to take, and we're going to dry it, because the drying part will allow us to go ahead and get them stamped. So I'm just going to do on the edge there. And then we're going to dry. And it gets lighter when it dries, of course. Just make sure that back side is dry too. All right. Let's get the white. There we go. Okay, there's that one. And then let's do this one. All right. I'm gonna touch those and make sure that they are fully dry and that I don't get any ink on my fingers. All right, this one needs to go just a little longer. There it goes. Okay. All right, then we're done with that. So I'm gonna move this one as well, so I'm not wearing everything. All right, we're gonna go ahead and fold our card base in half, and then I'm gonna set it aside. All right, so let's stamp. And when we stamp, we're gonna get a piece of grid paper. And we're going to take our little flower here, little daisy. I'm pretty sure that's a daisy. I don't know, y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's a daisy. Okay, so on the one that is fully inked up, we are actually gonna stamp it pretty much in the center at kind of an angle, okay? All right, then we're gonna take this one and we're gonna kind of put it like that. And then the other one, we're gonna put up, let's kind of do it here. All right, like that. All right, then let's go ahead and, yeah, see, oh, a cornflower. See, I didn't think about that. I kept thinking they were daisies because one of the other images is like a small daisy, because it looks like the flowers I get from the grocery store. So I was thinking maybe it was a different one, but a cornflower would actually make sense because of the angle that it's at, for sure. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we are going to heat emboss our sentiment. So I've already cut out our little black. Oh, by the way, these are the perennial postage dies. I love these dies. I've used them a lot lately. And we're going to take our embossing buddy, put that there. Then we're going to take our Versamark, ink up our sentiment, and I'm going to blow that off a little bit. Then we're going to stamp it down just like that. Hope I got it good. We are then going to take some white embossing powder. I'm going to take my tweezers just so I don't put my finger in it. All right, and then I'm just going to let that pour right on over. And we're going to do it one more time. Okay. Flick it off a little bit. Make sure that all the pieces there are off. All right. Then I'm going to take my tweezers and hold on again, and we're going to heat emboss this. A lot of use with the heat tool this week, for sure. All right, while I heat this up, next week I got my paper pumpkins in today. So next week we're gonna do April's paper pumpkin. So just in time for the end of the month. Yay! All right, there we go. Make sure I got all that. I did. Perfect. All right, so now let's take our pieces here and put them on our little, we only need 3. I did 4 instead. So we're gonna take, and we're gonna put a lot of adhesive on the back just because we did heat it up. And then we're gonna put those there. And then, ta-da. All right, one more. And then here, like that. Okay, then we're going to we're gonna add them to the front. So this one is gonna go there. This one is gonna go there. Like that. And then we're gonna put the full one there. And then we're gonna pop that one up there. Okay, so now we're gonna take this one. And what I wanna do when I put them on is I just wanna make sure that the spacing is pretty accurate. So I wanna make sure that I'm as far away from each side as the other side. Okay, and then we'll put the bottom one on next. And then it'll help us line up the other ones. Okay, and then I'm just gonna make sure that the bottom here matches the top up there. Okay, and then we'll do this one. Yep. You probably don't have to put that much adhesive on it when it's on the black cardstock, but all right, so then we're going to space that one out so that those two kind of match. Again, I'm not being perfect with it, but trying to be as close as possible. Oh, let's see, hold on. Yeah, I'm gonna need inspiration for using those vibrant colors. Yeah, you know, me too. I am definitely well, I'm more of, yeah, probably more neutral because I tend to go toward Night of Navy, Crumb Cake, Basic Beige. I tend to go through all of those, but I also love the brights too, and the subtles, because I do pool party a lot, but I don't know. Maybe I just like all colors. Who knows? Every week's different, I guess, for me, Deb. Every week. All right, and then we're going to pop this up, and so that's going to just center with that because it's obviously not going to go from edge to edge. And then you're going to center it with that. Okay, there we go. Then we're going to add on some little glimmer here. We're going to add on some sparkle. We're going to do black ones first. I mean, the big ones, the big black ones first. And there. And then let's put a third one. We'll put it right there. And then we're going to do 2 little ones, one there. And then let's do one right there. Okay. Now this is going to be the one we don't put the ribbon on. And then I do have to place another order. And since there's going to be free shipping, which I forgot to completely talk about, free shipping will be Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday for orders $75 or more. So if you need anything, that is the time to get it. I will be getting some cardstock and apparently some black twine. So, because I definitely need that. So this is what they both look like, one with it, one without it. And then maybe when I get that black twine in, I'll add it to it and we'll see if that works. So, all right. And then here was our first card. And again, it is using the 2 stamp sets, Natural Botanicals and The Right Words. All right, everyone, I hope you enjoyed the projects this week. If you have any questions, let me know. And again, later this week, I will have a 3rd card with another technique in it. All right, everyone, have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you later. Bye.